The Whispering Woods. Amelia had always been drawn to the woods behind her grandmother's house. They held an enchanting allure, especially in the summer, when the leaves rustled like secrets and the air was thick with the scent of pine. But as the sun dipped below the horizon and shadows stretched across the trees, the woods transformed into a realm of darkness and mystery. One balmy summer evening, curiosity got the best of Amelia. Armed with nothing more than a flashlight and a sense of adventure, she ventured into the woods. Her footsteps were muffled by the soft carpet of pine needles underfoot. The flashlight beam danced through the trees, creating fleeting shadows that seemed to whisper secrets to one another. As she ventured deeper, the trees grew thicker. Their branches entwined like skeletal fingers. The path she had followed began to fade, leaving her surrounded by an eerie silence. The rustling leaves were now replaced by an unsettling stillness that seemed to suffocate the air. Amelia's heart quickened, but a determined curiosity pushed her forward. Eventually, she stumbled upon a clearing, the moonlight casting an ethereal glow on the ground. In the center stood a dilapidated cabin, its windows shattered and its wooden walls weathered by time. A chill ran down Amelia's spine, but a strange compulsion urged her to approach. The cabin's door creaked open with a haunting groan, revealing a darkness that seemed to swallow the light. With trepidation, Amelia stepped inside, her flashlight beam cutting through the shadows like a knife. The air was thick with a musty scent, and the floorboards creaked beneath her feet. As her flashlight revealed the cabin's interior, Amelia's heart skipped a beat. The walls were covered in faded photographs and handwritten notes, each depicting a different person, their faces frozen in expressions of fear and despair. The notes told stories of lost souls, of whispers in the night, and the feeling of being watched. Amelia's flashlight flickered, casting the room into momentary darkness. Panic rose within her, but when the light returned, the photographs had changed. The faces were contorted in agony, their eyes pleading for release. A soft whisper seemed to fill the air, growing louder with each passing moment. In a state of terror, Amelia fled the cabin, her footsteps echoing through the woods. But the whispers pursued her, growing more insistent. She stumbled, her flashlight falling from her grasp, leaving her in complete darkness. The whispers surrounded her, seeming to come from all directions at once. And then as suddenly as they had begun, the whispers ceased. The woods fell silent, the moonlight filtering through the trees once again. Amelia's heart pounded in her chest, her breath ragged. With a newfound fear, she retreated from the woods, never to return. But on the rare summer nights when the wind rustled through the trees just so, those who listened closely could swear they heard faint whispers carried on the breeze, as if the woods themselves were sharing the secrets they held. The devastating heat wave. The summer heat had descended upon the small town of Millbrook with an unrelenting fervor. The sun blazed relentlessly, turning the asphalt into molten rivers and the air into a suffocating embrace. But as the temperature soared, an unnatural unease settled over the town, casting a shadow over the sunniest of days. It began with a series of peculiar incidents, objects moving of their own accord, faint whispers echoing through empty rooms, and an inexplicable chill that cut through the sweltering air. Sarah, a local journalist, couldn't ignore the sense that something was amiss. Intrigued and seeking a story, she delved into the town's history, uncovering an old legend that seemed to have resurfaced. Decades ago, during a scorching summer much like this one, a wave of unexplained deaths had swept through Millbrook. The townspeople whispered of a curse, a malevolent force that had been awakened by the heat wave. Sarah's journalistic instincts kicked in, and she began to investigate further, interviewing the town's elderly residents who still remembered the horrors of that summer. As she delved deeper, Sarah's skepticism wavered. The tales were consistent sightings of shadowy figures, eerie apparitions in the dead of night, and a sense of being watched even in the solitude of one's home. The more she uncovered, the more she felt a creeping dread settling in the pit of her stomach. One sweltering evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Sarah ventured to the abandoned mansion on the outskirts of town. It was said to be at the center of the curse, the source of the malevolent energy that had plagued Millbrook. The mansion stood like a specter against the fading light, its windows shattered and its grandeur reduced to decay. With a determined exhale, Sarah stepped inside. The air was thick with a musty scent, and the floorboards creaked under her weight. She shone her flashlight through the darkness, revealing faded wallpaper peeling from the walls like old scars. The temperature seemed to drop unnaturally, sending a shiver down her spine. As she explored further, Sarah stumbled upon an old journal, its pages yellowed with age. The entries spoke of a once affluent family, the Pembrokes, who had lived in the mansion. But as the heat wave raged that summer, their lives had descended into madness and tragedy. The final entries were a desperate plea for release from the torment that had consumed them. A sudden gust of wind extinguished Sarah's flashlight, plunging her into darkness. The air grew icy, and a mournful wail seemed to echo through the mansion's corridors. Fear gripped her heart, and for a moment she felt a presence looming just beyond her vision. With trembling hands, Sarah managed to relight her flashlight and fled the mansion, her heart pounding like a drum. The curse seemed to have awakened, and there was no denying the malevolent energy that lingered in the air. The town's history had come alive, and Sarah was left to grapple with the knowledge that some mysteries were best left undisturbed. As the summer heat wave continued, so did the inexplicable occurrences in Millbrook. The townspeople whispered of shadows that moved on their own, and ghostly figures that appeared in windows. And as the days stretched on, the sense of dread only deepened, leaving the residents to wonder if they were trapped in a never-ending nightmare fueled by the haunting heat wave.